This is part 5 of my book recommendations for the month of October. Today we're going to be talking about literary horror, an American Gothic classic, Gothic fiction, and this is a story that I knew I was going to like, but I didn't think I was going to love. You've probably heard of it before, you've probably seen it before, but today we're going to be talking about Shirley Jackson, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. So this is the story that follows the surviving members of the Blackwood family. Mary, Constance, and their uncle. The Blackwoods all live in this house and they're kind of isolated and othered from the society around them. The reason being is that the rest of the Blackwood family are all dead. They all died by a case of poisoning and nobody really knows how it happened or who did it. But what we do know is that the community around them do not like the surviving members of the Blackwood family and they want to see Mary, Constance, and their uncle all gone. They don't want them around. Mary and her surviving members of her family all live in this very odd rhythm together. But when somebody shows up, that person ends up disrupting that rhythm. And I'm not going to say anything else more than that because I do feel like it gives away sort of the rest of the plot of the story. This is American Gothic fiction at its peak. It really highlights the haunting that plagues the surviving members of the Blackwood family, how it drives them to madness, how it drives them to codependency, but it also shows the decay of this family. But amidst that decay, there's also this rebirth. Even though there's this like very odd and eerie mood when you read this entire story, there's also this veil of like joy and love, which I found very beautiful. I gave this book a 5 stars. I really enjoyed reading this work. I really enjoyed Shirley Jackson's writing. I am now a fan and I will definitely be reading more works from her in the future. I really love the dynamic between Mary and her sister Constance. And I also just really adore Mary's character. Like, she has such a special little place in my heart. She reminds me a little bit of Wednesday Addams for some reason. Like, I get very similar vibes. What's really interesting about this book is how her and her sister are portrayed, who live this very isolated life, with one of the sisters being very paranoid, very anxious, almost agoraphobic, and the other sister being a lot more free, a lot more adventurous, a bit of a risk taker. But this is a book that I absolutely fell in love with. If you are looking to read a classic horror story for the month of October, We Have Always Lived in the Castle is one of Shirley Jackson's most well-known novels. I think it was also her last novel that she wrote. The afterword of this was written by Jonathan Lethem. He writes something about the way Shirley Jackson writes that I think embodies this entire work really, really well, in which when she writes horror, it doesn't really lean into things like the supernatural, but more into the things like the ugliness of the human mind and of human action. And I think that specifically is translated so well in this work.